All right, guys, we always talk about how parts are a problem. Well, we got an interesting parts development on this one that I think will help you out. Kind of a PSA video. Let's get into it. Here's the backstory. Vehicle came in, doing some other work on it, doing some brake work and stuff, and it intermittently doesn't want to start. Sometimes it starts and shuts off. Most of the time, it doesn't shut off. Most of the time, if it starts, it runs okay, but it may run bad. It just depends. It does have a hard time starting sometimes. Let me see if we can't get it to do it. A lot of times it'll start fine, for a while. So it started up perfect. There we go. All right, so now it won't start there. Then it started right up again. So we determined that it had a bad cam sensor. Now we did some scoping and stuff, but I want to show you something that might be very helpful for those of you that don't use scopes. I'm not going to say this is going to work every single time. It's just something that I noticed on this vehicle. It's got the original cam sensor in it right now. And this is what this video is all about. The parts that we got. It's not about really diagnosing it, but I thought this was kind of cool. So I pulled up the camshaft position sensor, and this is the RPM. I honestly have never seen this PID before. Never really paid attention to it before, but I saw it was in there, and as we were diagnosing it, I said, let me pull that up. So let me show you something on this. This is the original cam sensor in here. It's got no codes for cam sensor. I want you to watch of course it won't do it now for me. Watch this. Okay, it just jumped up. It just dropped out to zero, right? Dropping to zero. It shouldn't do that. The engine's sitting there running. And I know now, because I've seen it now with a good one in it, that usually it just stays steady. It just stays with the RPM. So we can see it dropping all over the place. So for those of you that don't have a scope, this might be a way for you to tell that it's got a cam sensor that's going bad in it. These things are notorious for aftermarket cam sensors causing similar issues to this. And they're very difficult to see even on a scope. So what I want to show you though is, let me go ahead. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to pull this cam sensor out. Luckily, this cam sensor is not crazy difficult to remove and put back in. I've had this cam sensor in and out of this vehicle probably a good dozen times, trying to figure out what in the world is going on with these parts that we're getting. I'm going to show you, once I get this one out, I'm going to show you the three sensors that we now have in our possession, which one of them is inclusive to the one that came in the vehicle. So let's go ahead. And I pretty much have a zipper on this thing. And sometimes these sensors will swell up. So thank goodness the original one was not swollen and stuck in the timing cover. And this has got a little jumper deal. That's why I'm pulling this bolt out, because it's got a little jumper, six or so inch wire or harness. Okay, there we are. So it's got a little harness on it. Let's pop this off. This is the sensor that this vehicle came in with. Now, after a closer look, Andrew was over looking at it. So that's an NTK logo on there, which NTK is usually good parts. And, it is what it is. All right, so and looking at this, okay, that's an aftermarket sensor. We've got these issues. We know that these aftermarket sensors can be, although NTK, I don't think we've ever had a problem with one of those parts. Let's get an OE one. So we ordered one from GM. Sadly, I don't have the bag, but we have a short on our short channel. So if you not already subscribed to our short channel, go over there and watch this video over there and subscribe to that. But here is the one that came out. So we ordered one from GM. From the dealership, came in the GM bag. And look what it's got on it. China, right? So I was just like, okay, wow, that just seems very weird. But I'm like, okay, well, it's an OE one, right? So I went ahead and installed it. Let me install this one in here. I'm only gonna run it for not long at all, because you guys are gonna know why as soon as I start it. If you don't already know, if you've run into this before, leave a comment down there and tell me what's about to happen. I'm curious if anybody else has run into this, because this is our first time running into it. All right. I am going to put the cam sensor bolt that holds the bracket, that holds the cam sensor and the loom bracket, or the wiring harness bracket, in place. I'm not going to put this bottom one, well, I better put the bottom one in, otherwise we'll get comments that that's what it is. So let me just do it, so that way we don't have the people going, no, 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 you're just doing that for the video. You know, that's what we do. All right. All right. Now, I can't see it, but I know where it is. I've done it so many times. All right, that's the cam sensor tight. Go ahead and tighten up the bracket, plugging it in. All right, now we've got the OE, made in China, cam sensor in it. Now, Sherwood, I'm going to have you start it, because I'm going to be out here, so that, because this is a sound thing. I want you guys to listen to this. All right, Sherwood is about to start it. I got the camera. I'm not really pointing at anything. You guys hear the tapping? I don't know if you can hear it or not. Don't worry about the belt squeal, but there's a tapping there. Okay, so as soon as that sensor gets installed, there's a, I don't know if you could pick it up on the mic. So we're like, okay, well, that's not good, because I mean, it was actually, we put that in, started it up, and Andrew was you know, 2 bays over, and he's like, what the heck just happened? I'm like, all I did was put a cam sensor in it. All right, so then I'm like, well, let's pull that back out, because that's the only thing that I changed. I'm not going down a rabbit hole, because it sounded like a lifter tap. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I literally, it was quiet, put the sensor in, it started tapping. Something's going on there. So we removed it, which I'm going to do. There it is. Again, that's the one that we pulled out of the GM bag. Not even AC, that was GM bag. Okay, so then we said, okay, let's get a standard one here. Although I would be not saying anything bad about standard, but I mean, aftermarket ones can be a problem on these. But we got a standard one here. I wanted to see, honestly, the depth. I looked at the depth on these two. So I just took and did that, and you can see they're the same. Right? They're right up against that. I got to looking at this one, and look at that. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there is a gouge right there. It's about maybe half the width of my pinky.
I see it.
Right? That thing was making noise too, and then it wore itself off. And you can see we've had this one in and out a few times, and it's doing the same thing, which is why it's getting quieter. Okay? Because it's a lot louder than that. We look at that one, and it hasn't had anything really on it. We put it in there, and it did exactly the same thing. So I'm going to put it in there. This is a standard one, and if we look at it, it is made in Mexico, which I would think maybe the original one was made in Mexico. But again, I don't know. So we're going to, at this point, we're like, what the heck? And here's the thing is, if this one went in, because what I did was I put it up against this, and it was just ever so slightly, just not quite touching it. If we can see that, I'm kind of moving it around a little bit, where the other one was right up on it. This one wasn't. So I'm like, well, maybe that tiny little bit will be enough. But then I was worried, well, if this one doesn't make noise, are the windings in it going to be good? Or are we going to be back in the same boat with not the best quality sensor, right? Because of known problems. So I put it in. This is the fun what I had doing this. And I just am thankful that this wasn't the crank sensor, because it requires starter removal. And I can't even imagine. And we did get a crank sensor because I was curious. So we got a crank sensor here. And the crank sensor from GM, I may still have it here actually, does say made in China. Same as this one. Now it's tight. Plugged in. Let's lower it down. Now this is with the standard one in it. There it is. There it is. Okay. All right, so that's the standard. That's the noise that we heard as soon as we put that OE one in yesterday. And we're like, that's not going to work. So then I had to try to figure out, okay, well, it makes it with the standard one, even though it's a little tiny bit shorter. It makes it with the OE one. That OE one is still making noise right now. I don't know if we picked that up on camera or not. It's not making it as loud as that one is. And I'm not comfortable with that. I mean, no matter what, it's too close to the pickup. It's too close to the cam gear. So then we had to figure out a way to remedy this, but still fix the car. So luckily, I'll show you what we did. Go over here and grab them. So we always keep these things. This is Andrew's stash. Come back over here and I'll show you. I don't have my toolbox here, so I didn't have my stash. So these are AC clutch shims. So when you put a clutch pulley on an AC compressor, a lot of them need shims to get the gap right. And so that's what these are. And I played around with it, pulling it in and out a few times until I worked out that this was the correct shim size. This shim size kept it from making noise, but kept it close enough that we got a good waveform. So now, this is how this went down. So a lot of people, I'm gonna take this one back out. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, I mean, here's the thing, guys. And I know this isn't hard, and I get it. And you know, people are like, well, it's not hard to take it in and out. It's not hard to take it in and out, luckily. I mean, if it was the crank sensor, it would be exponentially more difficult. But I'm still having to figure out what to do here to make it right. And the reality is, when technicians are getting paid the way they get paid, which is usually flat rate or some type of commission, or, you know, they get paid for what they do. Most technicians aren't getting paid hourly. And that's a whole nother conversation we can have. I mean, that's a very long and drawn out conversation. And there are some serious lines in the sand that are drawn by a lot of people on that. And I'm not one of those people because, you know, for us, it's like, I just want people to live a comfortable life, but also be somewhat, you know, motivated, right? But who pays for this? Who pays for the in and out, you know, 12 times? All right, so here's the standard one. Back out of the vehicle. So I kind of was happy in one way that it still made noise, because I was worried about the windings in this. This is what normally happens with the aftermarket ones. The windings aren't right. This could be a perfectly fine sensor. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I was just worried. So now we're going to go back with the original one. And what I did was, I'm like, okay, played around. Got it. So this is the, right, GM one. And you can see that it's getting right there, that same kind of wear pattern, right? So what I did was took this and just shimmed it like that. And then we're going to put that back in. It does add a tiny little bit of layer of fun getting it back in there and not dropping the shim off of it. So this takes a little bit of finger coordination here. All right, that's the OE one back in with a shim so it won't make noise. And now let's go ahead and lower it down. We're gonna start it up, let you hear it. It's gonna be quiet. It was a little quieter already, so it was in there. Like I say, this thing was in and out numerous times yesterday, but not want to just let it run. Could we just, you know, let it run until it, you know, wore the cam sensor to the point where it didn't make noise? Yeah, you could have. Let me see get that?
Oh, I was going to give you a scanner.
Oh, okay. All right, so now I got the scanner. George's trusting me with a lot of stuff here. All right, so now we're not making any noise. It's quiet. We got a belt chirp. We got to take care of that. Oh, Sherwood's taking over the camera. He didn't trust me that much. And if we watch the cam sensor now, it's not going to drop out. And I've watched this for a while. This was just kind of a side note on this thing because I've never really looked at this, but I guess maybe we'll have to look at it in the future to see if this is something we can rely on to be a quick test for if the cam sensor is going bad. Now, you would still need to know, does it have power and ground to the cam sensor? Because if you lost power or ground, you're still going to drop out to zero. So those would be two tests you would need to do anyway. But let me shut it off. And it's going to start perfectly every time now. It's going to start fast, going to start perfectly. Now these things will start with the cam sensor disconnected. And they may start fast, and they may go, and what it's doing is the engine module is using the crank sensor, and it's guessing where to fire. So not optimal, but it is something that will happen, just so you guys know. This is just something that that was very interesting to me because I'd never run into this before. First of all, I have never gotten, you guys leave a comment down below. It is what it is, but I have never gotten a part, I don't think, from GM that I can remember. And I don't know, guys, I've been doing this a long time, and maybe I have, but I don't remember it being from China. I don't remember that being a thing. It could be. I mean, there's a lot of these vehicles on the road. There's a lot of these engines on the road. Maybe not in this Avalanche. Avalanche maybe is not the most, sold model, but these engines are in tons of trucks. So maybe GM just said, hey, we still need to have these crank sensors, but instead of going back to the original manufacturer of them, they went overseas to get it inexpensive. I don't know. But it does seem to work. We don't have any issues with it. Quite honestly, I didn't run that standard ignition one very long to see. It could have been fine too. I don't know. But it's just something to look out for. It's the first time we ran into it, and we wanted to kind of put it out there to you guys and get your feedback on it, see what you say. And if you've run into this before, and if you haven't, you stick one of these things in there and it starts making that tapping noise, pull it back out, get you an AC shim, and it'll fix it up for you. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And like I say, we want your feedback, so definitely leave a comment down below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and leave us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel when you guys subscribe. It helps us to reach more people and get out there. And we really do appreciate everybody that's been subscribing, and the ones that watch and haven't subscribed, just hit it. It's free, super easy. Just hit that button right now. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.